But Tim, welcome to the show. Thank you. Tim Jenkins is here, damn it, and he's watched all the tape, and we can't wait to hear what Tim has to say about Caleb Williams making it to the Hall of Fame when his playing career is done, because there's nothing wrong with the Bears quarterback, Tim.
Boys, I'm pumped up, first and foremost. Adam, that was great ODK, if I'm going to be honest with you. And then the bigger flex, though, was the Miller Lite ad read, because I actually delete Millers, can't get them to sponsor me, but I'm doing like VPN ads as if the government's going to track me just watching Bears O and be like, this guy's a psycho.
Well, yeah, but you got actual video on your channel, and we're still waiting for that clearance, which is why, by the way, people in the comments, is why we're using screenshots. I hate screenshots too, but that's why we use multiple of them to kind of show you what's going on there. So, Tim, I know you kind of came in there in the middle of that as we were discussing, but the overall point was a lot more anticipatory throws, it seems like, already. Like, you can obviously, Caleb hasn't been perfect. He hasn't read everything you completely right at the line of scrimmage. The late interception was obviously one you can't do at the NFL. That's just a rookie learning, in my opinion. The amount of throws you can isolate, and I just showed the first half there of anticipation. It's just a different level of play that they're in from a quarterback perspective compared to what they've had before.
Yeah, I think Caleb – I walked away from the tape not really stressed about Caleb. I think obviously Bo Nix had a decent day, and then what Jaden Daniels did last night hurts Caleb, because the context of NFL fans then just like, hey, we got to compare them 1-to-1, as if like Waldron and Lincoln Riley aren't like two completely different guys right now. And that's not a shot at Waldron. It's just like what he's done so far in Chicago is, the fourth and I think you tweeted about it, Adam, like that 4th and goal call it's as bad as it gets. And I saw triple fumble Ruski from a 7-year-old flag team this week playing MAC. Like, it's as bad as it gets, including that call. So I don't know. I think the anticipatory throws I thought were great, man. I thought he pushed the ball down the field pretty decently. Even the interception that he throws to Rome, there's a piece of me, I'm grading that, and I go, hey, it's bad, right? You end in a pick. And then I'm watching the tape, and kind of a part of me is kind of like changing my heart as I'm watching, like, he forced it, but dog, it's in there, right? Like, there was your quarterback room's meeting on that clip, and you're saying, hey, we probably shouldn't force it here. The receiver room's meeting on that clip and saying, hey, bud, if all we wanted was the easy ones, we're paying anybody $500,000 to come in here and do that. Like, we took you high, and we're paying you a lot because of that one. Like, we want you to come down with that one. So to me, it's like, I thought the anticipation was good. I think the thing we don't talk about enough with him is I think he's doing a good job of getting them in and out of the right plays. That's a whole different discussion that I don't even know if we have enough time for, but it's like, tell me why the Bears are the only team that I see in the National Football League where our rookie quarterback kills us into the right run play, or what we thought was the right run play, and we gain a yard. Like, that's a design issue if we're getting into the right run play and our right run plays are 1-yard gains. Like, that's an issue, right? That's a design. We're not giving him the right stuff. Like, to me, those are like kind of the bigger concerns I have. I didn't walk away from the tape thinking Caleb sucks. I walked away from the tape thinking like, this doesn't seem sustainable from the timeouts and the play calling. Like, there's certain things where I'm like, this just doesn't feel like this is going to last.
If you were the Bears right now, Tim, and you're looking at all of this, what's the one thing that you would focus on? And obviously, because it won't establish the run, but like, how would you go about fixing this right now?
I'm going to say something that like sounds so counterintuitive, but I would turn his back to the line of scrimmage more. And I know it sounds weird from a quarterback guy being like, take your eyes off the defense. I think where I've seen Caleb make the biggest mistakes are straight drop back, trying to drive the ball down the field. And I think there's a bunch of reasons for it. One of them being, hey, the NFL is not as clean as what you've seen in college and what you've seen in high school, where it's like, hey, the safety is scared to death to not line up at 12 if he's running cover 2. Like, you ain't going to see that. You're going to see a guy at 6 making it look like he's capping the nickel who's going to fire, and then he's going to kick it back and he'll be in 2, right? Like, you're going to see a bunch of different stuff. What I'd rather do is see him with his back turned, play action, to where by the time he snaps his eyes around, he's got to be decisive based on information that is 100% accurate because it's post-snap. So to me, it's like the way that I would fix it is we need more horizontal stretch, get the ball out of his paw, and then let's go ahead and turn his back to the line of scrimmage when we're trying to shoot this thing down the field. And I think there's a deep sit route that advocates to that. That deep over route to Rome, I think, advocates for that. To me, there's some stuff where it's like, I'd actually turn his back to the line more. If you're like, hey, Tim, fix it in a week, we're getting the ball out of his hand in quick game a ton, horizontal stretch, letting him play on time, and we're turning his back to the line of scrimmage, and we're going to go out there and we're going to fire it up. And I'd also say that like Kmet's usage was finally accurate with who I think he is as a player, with the exception of 3rd and 9 tight end screen. You guys obviously do stuff with Cole, his 85 show. You guys know me. I love Cole. 3rd and 9 screen ain't for him, right? And I'd probably tell him that in person too, even though he could kind of smash me, right? I'd probably tell him, hey, 3rd and 9 tight end screen, not for you. But I think he's a hell of a ball player. We finally used him accurately. And there's just a lot that, like, if you were like, hey, fix it though, turn his back to the line of scrimmage. That way his eyes are pure when he gets around and he goes to throw these deep shots.
Well, I mean, last night you saw with Jaden Daniels, the clean pockets. He's extremely efficient on Monday Night Football, but the clean pockets certainly stand out. You look at Caleb Williams with the Texans, gets sacked 7 times. Then all of a sudden in the Colts game, I saw much cleaner pockets, getting under center, 7-step dropbacks. Felt like the drop was more natural for Caleb in that arena. So do you advocate for getting under center more? You're saying turn your back to the field, but I really liked what I saw in that layer of the new look that they gave them against the Colts.
I think that's great. Yeah, I think get them under center. I think anytime you get under center, like the defense at least had to alert, like run a little bit more. Now, I love, let's take all this with a grain of salt because we're under center running 7-step. We're running true 7-step drop back, and then we're in the goal line and we ran Wildcat and I think 2 or 3 shotgun runs, right? Plus a pistol speed option. Like, let's not forget. So to me, it's like I think we got to have a mixed use case of when we should be under center, right? Like we want to be under center down tight and let's go ahead and pound this rock in vertically versus what we did near the goal line. I think that's great too. To me, what stood out, like talking Jaden Daniels, I did a Jaden Daniels breakdown this morning. What took me by surprise was they creatively get to a lot of easy throws to pad his stats. And then when they ask him to push the ball down the field, it is, I know there's this big debate right now on pure progression or pre and post snap looks of the best way to develop a quarterback. Well, it's strictly pure progression and the kid looked okay, right? And it's strictly pure progression right now with Andy Reid. That dude's doing all right. And then the Dolphins and the Niners, all pure progression. I feel like we'd trade with the Niners right now from an offensive design standpoint, like, in a heartbeat. So to me, it's like, I don't know. I think if we could simplify where his eyes need to go, I think it would help him. I also think what you said about getting under center is a great thing. I don't think that there's like a really like football person in America who like turned on that tape and wasn't more frustrated with what Waldron was doing. And and I just feel like the Colts gave us every opportunity to be successful because what everybody knows on planet Earth, you go play the Houston Texans. They do a little bit of D-line games and they have free runners left and right. The Colts multiple times gave us a straight up pass rush. So to me, it's like they were trying to let us block them. Like if you watch the Houston tape and you didn't game them every single snap, to me, that's a whole different conversation for a Colts channel of like, why were we not gaming this line every snap? They decided not to. We actually blocked somebody and it looked a lot better. Now, I don't think we'll see that again. Like, I don't think the next team is sitting there like, you know what, let's watch this Colts pass rush not get home. I think they're all turning on the Texans tape, and I think we're going to get gamed to death until we can figure out how to protect it.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of simplify that conversation, and I know you know this, Tim, like, as an offensive line, you're trying to create as many double teams as possible. As a defense, you're trying to avoid that as much as possible. And I actually did think that was a positive development from this game, is you actually see a lot from the back end zone angle. Yeah, the Bears got this double team here and this double team here, and there's actually a pocket. So I agree with you. I think that was kind of insane that the Colts even let that happen, and I think that's going to be much tougher going forward. What solutions do you have from the coaching side of this? Like, what should Shane Waldron be doing differently? Like, what are the? I know you mentioned the under center, but like, some of this is. We shouldn't be shocked because this is Chicago and this is a never-ending conversation where we talk about putting these quarterbacks in the right position to have success. But, like, you have Mercedes Lewis on your roster, and you're running multiple plays at the goal line with DeAndre Carter in that spot trying to block a defensive end. Like, I don't understand how that happens at the NFL level. It just I'm violating my own rule because I promised myself I was going to stop talking about this the rest of the week, but I can't. My brain can't stop going to that moment of that football game.
Yeah, I think I saw you tweet out, and I don't know if did you ask the question about like the matchup?
Shout out to Courtney Cronin. She's the one who asked the question from ESPN. But yeah, that answer from Matt Eberflus was about as clear cut as it could possibly be.
Yeah, which is, and I mean, I think it's dead on. Here's where I think. So we talked about turning your back to the line of scrimmage. We've talked about getting under center. We talked about, like you said, hey, we got to shore up our double teams. The most practical place I would like to see them grow are their P and 10 plays. We get the possession and 10. We have the ball, our first and 10. How can we get our feet moving forward? That's the most practical place that I could see a ton of growth, because right now our solution is inside zone, which I think with like a young quarterback, a great solution is, hey, let's dress up our inside zone. Right now, under center, inside zone, not that effective. Duo, whatever. Let's get him in the gun. Let's read somebody. And if we get an apex defender, let's kick it out to DJ Moore, right? Like, to me, there's like I don't want to say easy, because nothing's easy in the NFL, but there are simplified solutions to make that first and 10 feel better. And I think, like, if you were to say, like, practically, what do you think is the most applicable? Like, I think that outside of the turning your back to the line of scrimmage, because I think that first and 10, you get those feet moving forward and you get a completion, like that changes stuff mentally. And I know that we all got excited when on Hard Knocks, he was like, man, I've never been nervous outside of my high school. Like, come on. We've all, like, we know, right? You got to say what you got to say, but also, like, dude, it's a National Football League. Some stuff's not going your way. Like, we need to continue to help him keep confidence, right? Like, he has to do that. We've seen what happens to quarterbacks when that gets shot. So to me, it's like that first and 10. Can we get some drive starters? And then can we dress up some of these concepts in a way in which we can actually get an advantageous matchup for, like, DJ Moore? Like, can we bump DJ Moore into the slot, start with the receiver outside of him, kick the motion across, see if we get a corner to follow, and, like, isolate him one-on-one from a condensed set? Or can we, start with Kmet isolated, kick DJ Moore across, see who we can get isolated on Kmet? Like, can we maybe dress up our formations just a smidgen to get some actual decent matchups? Because I feel like what we do every once in a while is we get up there, it's quads or it's 3-by-1 stagnant, and you look backside and DJ Moore, okay, hey, we're going to try to throw it. Like, let's just dress it up a little bit to see if, and even if we get the same where I get a bona fide one corner on DJ, right? But if I get him from that condensed set, at least give DJ another angle, at least force them to bump and exchange it to where now that corner is not, like, fully set, like, with everything on planet Earth, like, he feels great about. Like, let's get a little bit of movement, a little bit of eye candy, dress some of this stuff up. Like, there was a series that I thought against the Houston Texans, the Bears go 3 and out, but they dressed it up formationally so good that, like, I wish we would revisit some of those plays. And I know it's like, I know what happened. You go 3 and out, dressing up some of these formations. You have a defensive head coach who's like, that bull, that's terrible. Like, I know how it goes down, but, like, let's not listen to that, and let's, like, try to dress up some of this stuff for the young quarterback.
What was the stat, Gregory, you had last night on second down for the Bears that I found fascinating on Brags After Dark?
Yeah, well, Robert Mays put out, I don't know if you saw it, Tim, where on second down, the Bears have converted like 5 of 59 second down run or plays, and it's at an 8% conversion rate, which is the worst in the NFL
by a wide margin.
And the second worst in the NFL is at 18%, which is the Panthers. Everybody else above that. And so to your point, and I think Robert Mays' point is like, then that leads to disadvantage on third down, which is leading them to have to pass as many times as they did against the Colts.
And where I want to take it, Tim, like, there's just no rhythm. Like, there's no flow to what they're doing is what I'm seeing.
I just, a lot of that's like scripted. Like, you guys know, like, the scripted series. And how many times do you flip on a game and both scripted series score and you go, damn, I should not have bet the under. And then all of a sudden the under hits, right? It happens all the time, except for the Bears, right? I feel like we're the only scripted team where it's like, have we run these plays before, is what it feels like. And I just think, a lot of people, a lot of guys like to game plan. We've got our true scripted, right? Our actual, here's how we're coming out. And then they also like to script their P and 10s. Like, I just think when you talk about rhythm and you talk about, like, hey, we suck on second down, where does that start? It starts on first down, right? And where does it really start? Like the first down of the drive, right? You get this thing moving, defense on their heels, a different ball game. If you get to the D coordinator's fourth call or his third call after a first down, second down, first down, like, Adam knows from coaching, like, they're on their heels. Like D coordinators hate, like they want that first 3-and-out punt. You start getting into that drive. They start thinking about who they have to rotate in. Okay, who did I just rotate in as a rusher? Okay, well, how can I manufacture pressure now because this guy's fourth string for a reason? Like there's all these things they have to think about. Whereas us, it's like we get through that first one. It's smooth sailing for us, right? Like most of the times our receivers, we're reloading them. We're good to go. Like to me, it's like the rhythm I think comes from what are we working on in practice? How are we working through these scripts? You guys know more from like seeing, the staff's philosophy on how do they rep stuff. But I would challenge, how much are we actually repping our scripted? How much are we repping our first and 10 scripted? And then also like, what are we putting on Caleb in first down? Because if you are killing and wiping things off on first down and the end result is we're running duo for a 2-yard gain, that's just not a great check. It's a horrible design.
Well, that was just funny because the first 10 scripted, the start of your video this week, which was, of course, the first throw of the game, which DJ Moore's running to go and Caleb's firing it out of bounds. Like,
that was alarming to me.
That is alarming, dude.
Because you're thinking you're practicing that play all week. It's part of your first 15. When I was watching that live, I was like, how the hell does that happen?
I mean, like, literally, if I was Ryan Pauls, I would have come down right there and fired everybody. Okay, that's it. If that's how we're starting, I don't need to know anymore. That cannot happen. See you later. We could have preempted the 4th and 1 goal line call.
Well, let me ask you this.
What's crazy, though, is
go ahead.
Well, just what's crazy is like all of this to say we had a shot to win it.
Right. That's true.
Yep.
And I talk about it on my videos. I'm not a proud man. I bet all my YouTube earnings on the Bears. I have not made money on the Bears. It hurts. I'm with them. I'm sitting there and I'm like tweeting during the game and people are like, man, you sound like you're hurting. I'm like, I am, because I've been working for free on YouTube for a while. But it's like, dude, it's just, how did they have a shot to win it after you come out, like you said, your first pass attempt, and we don't know if we're converting this stop route? Like that's not bad at the NFL level. That's bad at every level. Like you wouldn't accept that at like 3rd grade football if you didn't know what you're doing on the first play after repping it. Like that's where I'm just like, boys, what are we doing?
Well, there is an alternate universe where, and I'm telling everybody, Cole Kmet breaks down the play where he gives up the strip sack tonight on the 85. Check it out. But if that block gets made, I think Rome's open over the middle. They might be rolling there. They're down 4, and maybe we're talking about an entirely different game where Caleb Williams led them down the field. They ended up scoring another touchdown later. So it's
sure they still could have won, but the point is, if you're ever going to beat a good team, you can't do what you can't start like that.
But that is for me like what the silver lining is. Yeah, it sucks they lost. It sucks they're 1-2. It sucks that he made some mistakes. But there's just so much progress I saw from week 2 Sunday Night Football where he almost got killed to week 3. I was panicking after week 2 saying, dumb this completely down. Stop giving him so much responsibility. He almost got killed. Then week 3, they have 92 offensive plays, 52 passing plays, and he looked calm, cool, and collected and got better as the game went along. So I guess my question to you, and I'm really fascinated to try to understand this, for you, what are the responsibilities and what the mindset is for a quarterback at the line of scrimmage when you're making all these checks, not just with the pass, but with the run as well? Because like you said, this responsibility on first down, what is it? I'm just trying to understand what Caleb has to see in the box to identify what he needs to call on a first down run or a third down pass.
I mean, it should be the run plays honestly should be simple, right? Because it's like as easy as, okay, hey, we get up and we're in an unbalanced set, right? We got Kmet to our right. So it's like we're strong right, and we're going to run outside zone to the right unless they give us an over front. The run bubble's weak, which means over would be in the 3 techs to the right to our strong side. Then they have another nose that's shaded. So we have our run bubble now weak on our left guard. Hey, kill, we're going to run to the left, right? Like we're going to go from outside zone to inside zone. Like those are easy to Caleb, right? There's a lot of people listening like, what the heck? But like in the football world, that's a super easy check. Third down's where it's just like stuff's out the window because you're getting looks that he's probably never seen in his whole football life. Like I think you have to take Caleb with a lot of context too of like when you're the best high school player at a really great high school, everyone's scared So they don't give you exotic looks, right? Like a lot of schools probably went against Caleb in high school and thought like, let's play our safety super deep. Let's just not get embarrassed. Then you go and you play where he played college and you're going so fast that you can only see so many looks, right? Like when you're playing true fastball, they don't dress it up. Now he's finally at a level where it's like third down looks he gets from a disguise standpoint, he'd probably never seen in his whole football life, right? So it's like that also is tough. And then when you get into the nuances of pass pro where, okay, let's just say like, okay, hypothetically they're in 2-jet and we say the O-line has to block the 4 down and the will linebacker and the running back's going to scan Mike to Sam, right? Well, let's say our will isn't a will. Our will's a nickel will and he's walked way out and the safety spun away. I don't need to account for the will. So instead of miking the Mike, you mic the Sam. So now your O-line's going to block 4 down and who's on paper the Mike, but to you, because you new Mike ID'd is the will, right? Now all of a sudden it's like our back just scans Sam and gets out. And then what do you have to do? Well, now I need to alert a break off backside and still be aware of my hot front side. And that's like the easiest version of it. Now, if you add in the fact that the two tackles aren't hand in the ground, they're standing. So now you need to ID, okay, hey, here's our 2 tackles for my line too. That's when you get into the complexities of why people are like, of course, rookie quarterbacks suck, right? Because that's just like the easiest version of what we just talked about is still hard. And that's like as easy as it'll get because that's 3rd and 6 probably, right? You get to 3rd and 12 and it's like, don't even try. Just hand the ball off, throw a screen, see what happens.
Well, Tim, that was a great answer. But to also put it in perspective is Caleb has to do all of that in like 10 seconds. So, so that also puts it in perspective. By the way, the breakdown we're talking about, All Things QB, the YouTube channel, make sure you check it out. Awesome breakdowns every single week, not only on the Bears quarterbacks, but breakdowns across the league. Tim, you do a great job. My guy Grant Kramer will probably have his Tim Jenkins Elite shirt on at practice later today. He tends to wear that a lot.
Love that. Yo.
So
I love Grant. Grant's like the best kid. He lived with us during his draft prep. So my kids like my oldest son like loves Grant. He's like, when's Grant coming back? I'm like, I don't know, buddy. I think he's in Chicago. So I got to get you guys some gear though. I need some 100%. CHGO gear. I don't want to throw any shade, but like I do have a DNVR shirt.
I like this.
Yeah.
We'll give you Carmen.
I'd love some gear,
but you can have Mark Carmen.
We'll give you a bunch of shirts and Mark Carmen.
Tim,
sounds like a fair trade.
I'm on my way as fast as possible. Get me away from this complete fool to my left and this pain in the ass to my right. Thank you for being here, by the way.
Yeah, we
awesome
appreciate
stuff,
you continuing to jump on and give us the knowledge. It's certainly helpful, and I know our viewers appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim.
There he is, Tim Jenkins. Go check out his YouTube channel and T Jenkins Elite on Twitter as well.
We all silly like the mayor.